Hello you all and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Natalie. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, what it is, what it do. So by the title of this video, you can tell we're about to make some smackalicious, finger-licking, good oxtails, okay? So let's just get right into it. So we're gonna start, well, I've already cut the onions up. I'm gonna bring the pot up to about 6. I do have an electric stove, which I don't really care for, but you know, it is what it is. So right now we're gonna cut up some garlic. I love garlic and so does my family. So that's, I'm gonna add about 4 cloves here. So just gonna smash it up like that. Cut that piece off. And I dice it up. Let's repeat the process. And if you don't like garlic like this, you do not have to put this much. I love garlic and I love onions. So same thing if you don't like onions like that. I mean, you don't have to use onions, but you know, it does add that extra flavor. But I do know there's a lot of people that don't like onions, but I honestly feel like it's just on how you prepare it. So, but that's just personal opinion, you know. Some people genuinely don't like onions. But, you know, people that tell me that, I will cook a dish and it will have onions in it and they will smash. So, you know, I think it's all in how you make it. All right, garlic is done. So now we are going to move to the pot. I'm going to show you what I do. Okay, so right now I do have the pan already hot. I'm going to add some olive oil. About that much. Then I'm gonna add some butter. Add some butter here. Get that all over. I'm gonna put in the first batch of onions. Bit more. Like I said, if you don't like onions, you do not have to put this many, and I'm gonna add more. So I mean, my family, we love onions, so yeah. I'm gonna add some of that garlic. I'm gonna add some pepper. garlic powder, onion powder, cayenne pepper, turmeric, some cumin, crushed red peppers, some paprika, some curry powder. I'm gonna add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Now this will be your base for when you add your meat. Now we're gonna add some, you can either add water or some broth. And I'm gonna add some beef stock in the broth. I'm gonna let that simmer just a little bit before we add our meat. Okay, so now that it's come to some simmer, we're going to add the oxtails. Now I have already seasoned the oxtails, just because I am preparing this for my parents as well. So if you know anything about me, I love spicy food, but I'm not gonna make it very spicy. I'm just gonna add my own hot sauce. But I did season this with Worcestershire sauce, Mrs. Mrs. Dash, what else? Some pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. So yeah, I have to be careful with their health, so I don't add all the stuff that I normally may add in mine when I'm making it for myself. So I'm just gonna try to get all of these in that juice there. Now let me tell you, oxtails is not a quick meal. Like maybe unless you use a crock pot. I don't cook in the crock pot, so I don't really know, but I figure, you know, you can set it for a certain time, but typically on the stovetop, I will cook this for about 3 to 4 hours, because you want it to be falling off the bone. You do not want this to be tough at all. I'm just gonna pour in the extra sauce from when I seasoned it. Normally I'll season ahead of time and then thaw it out. Makes it taste even better. I'm actually gonna pour in some more stock to cover them, because you really kind of want them to boil, you know. And the stock definitely is gonna give it the flavor that it needs. Now you can also use water. You just have to keep in mind that you're gonna have to season the water really good. So, you know, beef stock or chicken stock, even if you have that, or broth, whichever one you choose, you could use, and it'll all be good. So I'm gonna cover this up and we're gonna let this boil maybe for about an hour, and then I'll be back. All right, so it's been about 15-20 minutes. So you see we have a nice boil going on, so you just want to stir that around. And I decided for the first 15-20 minutes to let it boil without the lid on, and then once we get to about 30-45 minutes, then I'm going to add the lid on. So right now we're at about medium heat. And this is what it should be looking like. Ooh, I can't wait. So I know it kind of looks like a lot of water, but trust me, they are going to boil down and it's not going to be this much water. So you're good if you feel like, oh my gosh. But right now they're extremely tough, and so we want to get it falling off the bone. So I'm going to let this boil for another 10 to 15 minutes. And then we're going to drop the heat down and add the lid. Okay, so I boiled it for roughly another 20-25 minutes. And so you see it's looking real good right there. Okay, you know, some of them are starting. Let me show you this one. You can probably see, but starting to come off the bone like that. That's what you want. That's what you want. And you see how the water has boiled down. Now they still are pretty tough. So what we're going to do is, because I want to add some more onions, more garlic, and I want to add some potatoes. So I'm going to add some more water to this, and then we are going to cut up the potatoes and get these put in here. I do have a jar of water. I'm just going to add probably until they're covered again. I know you're like, what? But yeah, I'm telling you, you want it to be finger licking good. That's what you're doing. So we're just going to, while we're letting this come together up to the same temperature again, we're going to get these potatoes cut up, and then we're going to add them in the mix. All right, so I actually let it boil down for another 15 minutes. You can see it did boil down some more, so I'm just going to add some more water. And then now we're going to add the potatoes. All right, so now we are going to cut the potatoes. Going to add that third one. So after I cut my potatoes, I like to rinse them off, so I'm going to rinse them off, and then we'll be right back at the pot. All right, so we're going to give this another stir, and then we're going to add in the potatoes. The rest of that garlic. Now notice I have not added any salt yet. Now this is because oxtails are pretty salty by themselves, so you want to wait until the end to salt to taste. You don't want to put a whole bunch of salt up front and then you're trying to break it down with water. So don't add your salt yet. Just let it boil down. But you don't want to put them all in at once. You want to like layer the flavor. Stir that in. Now this is the time that we're gonna add the lid, and then I think I'm gonna get some bell peppers to add in as well. So I'm gonna put the top on it, let this boil down some, And then we're gonna cut up the orange, yellow, and red bell peppers. And we'll just put a little bit of that in there after we let this boil down for maybe about 10-15 minutes. All right, so we are gonna use about half of these peppers. So I have yellow, orange, and red. And actually this red one is big, so I'm just gonna cut off a piece here. So we don't really need that much. And I'm just gonna cut out this flesh here. It is looking good. So we are gonna stir this up. Yeah, that's what you want right there. That's what it should be looking like. Just stir it up. Potatoes starting to look good too. So we're doing good here. We're doing good. We're doing good. We're gonna put the lid back on. I've dropped it down from medium high to a medium low, and we're just gonna cover that up and just let it boil down. Now you want to be very careful to make sure you're periodically stirring it, because it's real easy for, once it starts really boiling down, to stick to the bottom. And you don't want that, because it's just gonna burn them, which I mean will still be all right, but you know, who wants to be doing all that extra work? So yeah, just make sure you're stirring every now and again, checking on your liquid level, because you really want it to be falling off the bone. We're getting close there though. We're getting close. Look at that deliciousness. Hold on, let me get you a nice spoonful of some goodness. Woo! Look at that there. So it's gonna be ball. So yeah, if you love oxtails, this is, you know, my mini variations, because I make oxtails all different kind of ways. It just depends on my mood. But because my parents are eating this too, I'm not adding all the extra peppers that I would, like the hot peppers, like habanero. I'm not adding all of that because their spicy tolerance isn't where mine is. So I just added as much as the cayenne pepper. Now once in the red pepper flakes, once this boils down some, then we're going to taste it, and then that's when we can add our salt. Like I said, you don't want to add the salt too soon, because oxtails are pretty salty themselves, so you just kind of want to play off of that. So we're just going to let this boil down maybe for 30 minutes to another hour, and then we'll be back. All right, so this little piece is for my gardeners. So I'm gonna show you how you can save your seeds so that you can plant them. Now, I guess you really don't have to use a knife. You can use your hands. All these seeds, you wanna break them down. Now next, all you want to do is take a paper towel and you want to set these on the paper towel. And you're just gonna fold it up in there. And I'm gonna actually add another, because these are real wet, so I'm gonna add another paper towel on top. So just wrap that in there. And you wanna let this sit for a couple of days so they can dry out. You want the seed to be completely dry. Then you wanna, once it dries, you wanna go through it and pick out the black or brown seeds, because those won't sprout. And then you just put it in a Ziploc bag and save it for when you're ready to grow. And so I'm gonna do the same thing with this, but that's just, you know, for my gardeners out there, or even if you want to maybe try gardening. Now with these extra peaches, I said peaches, Lord, extra pieces, put these in a Ziploc bag and freeze them. You can use these type of scraps for your broth, and I can definitely do a video on how I make my vegetable, beef, and seafood broth. It's really even been maybe 5 minutes, but it's really starting to boil. That's what you want, and the meat is starting to get a lot more tender. So that's what you're looking for. I am probably gonna cut it down a little bit more, just because I don't want it to cook too fast. So I'm just gonna cut it down to about low, really. Not all the way low. I'm at like 3 right now. So yeah. All right, we are back. And it's been about, maybe about 20 to 30 minutes. And this is what we're looking like. Now, this is what you want. It's getting to that point, it's falling off the bone. So now we're at the point where we want to taste it, because we're about to make it thicker. So it's not like a water sauce. It's like a stew. So I just want to test and make sure the potatoes are done. So here, yeah, they're doing good. And our meat, that's what you want right there. That's what you want. You want it to be dang near falling off the bone, okay? So I'm gonna probably let this boil down. I'm gonna taste it, and then I'm gonna let it boil down probably another 20 minutes before we thicken it up the sauce. So I'm just gonna do like this, put a little bit, taste it. Perfect. So now would be the perfect time to add your salt. I'm going in with some pink Himalayan salt. Like I said, I am making this for my parents, so I do have to watch my salt content. So I use one that's stronger, like this. And pink Himalayan salt is better for you anyways. So I just put a little bit of salt. My salt tolerance is very high. I don't typically cook with salt. I cook with things with salt, and then I add to taste. That's the key to not over salting your dish. So I'm gonna let this boil down for another 20 to 30 minutes before we go ahead and thicken the sauce. We are back. Now I have this on low, but it has a nice little simmer to it now. You know, that's what we need. And you see it's boiling down too. And this is what you're looking for. This right here. Be able to pull it off the bone like that. Woo, that shit is hot. I don't know why I did that, but that's what you're looking for. See that? That's what you're looking for. So it is falling off the bone. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you what you need to do to thicken up the sauce so you have more of a soup stew versus a bunch of liquid here. Now you can leave it like this, you know, it's really a personal preference, but I like mine like a stew. So I'm gonna show you how you can. That looks so good. I can't wait to eat some. But yeah. So I'm gonna show you how we gonna thicken this up. All right, so we're just gonna need a bowl, some water, and some cornstarch. You wanna, this is a tablespoon, well, a heaping tablespoon. I'll probably take a heaping tablespoon and then a regular tablespoon. That should be more than enough. Don't need too much, and you probably won't even use all of this. It just depends. All right. So now, as you're pouring, you wanna stir. You wanna stir until everything is in there. You don't want any of the chunks to go in there because it's just gonna clump up in the soup. So you want to make sure you've got it all the way down. Start looking like milk. That's what you want right there. That's what you want. Okay? Alright, so we're just gonna give this a stir one more time before we add in the cornstarch. So we're gonna make sure we give that another turn or stir, let's say. Make sure there's no clumps at all. Now what you wanna do, you wanna do this at the same time. You wanna be stirring and you want to pour. Stir and pour. And I'm gonna use all of this. Now you can already see it getting thicker, more like a stew. And so what we're gonna do is let this boil in, and then we're gonna do another taste to see if we need to add any more salt. And then we're gonna cut it off and let it sit. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes since we added our cornstarch mixture. And you see how it's more of a stew now versus a liquid. Well, it still is a liquid. It's not as liquidy, let's say. And now, perfect time to go ahead and taste it, because we did add more water. And you see how the peppers have boiled down. Whoa. Look at that there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and taste that. All right, so yeah, we can add a little bit more salt. Going back in with the Himalayan salt. Add a little bit more. Not too much, that's about it. I'll stir that in and let it cook into it. And then we're gonna come back and taste it again. All right, so it's been about 20 minutes since we added our mixture. And you can see it's gotten a little bit more stewy. Now, once you turn off the pot and let it boil down and cool off, it'll get thicker. So it's just a, yes, it's about done there. That's what you're looking for, it to be falling off the bone. So I'm just gonna turn this off, and then I'll be back when I have plated it. All right, so it has been cooling, it's still hot, probably for like 30-45 minutes. So I just want to show y'all what it looks like after it has cooled down. Yes, that is what you want right there. We're gonna take a little piece of that. Yeah, falling off the bone like that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's what you need right there. And I'll make some rice to go with this. And we're gonna plate this up. Y'all, we're at a different setup, and bear with me because I'm holding my phone. I am at my parents' house. I don't have my ring light with me, but you know, we're gonna make it work. So I just got a little bit of water. Gonna make some rice. So I'm gonna put in some garlic and herb, some garlic powder, some onion powder, some total seasoning, and a little bit of adobo. And we'll be back when it's boiling. I had already started with some hot water. You don't have to do that, and you can use chicken broth, whatever you prefer, but I'm just using water. So I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, just a little bit, because the sazon and the total has salt in it, so you don't want to over salt it. So I'm just gonna wait till that start boiling, and then we're gonna add the rice. All right, guys, so the water is boiling, so we can add our rice. Now you want to stir it until you get a little bit of fight back, so I'm gonna add a little bit more rice. Okay, yeah. You want to have a little bit of tug when you're doing it. And then we're just gonna put the top on it and let that cook for about 10 minutes roughly. And then we're gonna turn the heat off and let it finish cooking. All right, so it's been about 7 minutes and the rice is looking like that. It's just about done. So you just turn the heat off and let it cool down some to finish cooking. And then we're gonna be back when it's time to plate it. All right, y'all, so this is the finished product. And I made this plate for my dad, so yeah. But this is a finished product. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you would like to see me cook next.